As we think about the needs of our learners in the classroom, we know that they come with a lot of different circumstances. How they learn is very different. How they even engage with us may look a little different. What are some of those key strategies that we want to use that will align with evidence-based practices, including our Board of Nursing, as well as our accreditation body and the NLN Hallmarks of Excellence to help us ensure that we're closing the loop related to those NLN nurse educator competencies? Well, first, we're going to take a look at the blueprint. Okay, so if you haven't already, make sure you print out the NLN candidate handbook for your respective C&E exam. But we're going to use the actual C&E exam blueprint. So if you take a look, there's actually 3 different competency areas. Well, I take that back. It's actually 4 different competencies that align with content that we're covering in this snapshot. All right, so first is going to be competency 1, specifically competency 1C, where it explores the expectation that we are to create diverse learning experiences for our students based on the various learning styles that they have. Okay, and again, that's all around modeling and modifying the teaching and learning strategies that we're using. And then the second competency I want you to take a look at is going to be competency 2A. Okay, so 2A really talks about our responsibility to identify what is going to best engage my learner in that learning journey so that ultimately they can achieve competency and make safe patient care decisions. The third competency we want you to look at is going to be competency 5, specifically looking at 5E. And again, how we model these diverse experiences that we're creating for our students, how we create inclusive learning experiences, and with competency 5, how do we support the changes that need to happen in our learning experiences within our nursing program, even within our academic setting. And then the last competency is going to be competency 8, and that is going to be 8D, where we're exploring how do we demonstrate the support of the diverse learner and the diversity that our healthcare partners and our universities are experiencing as well. So welcome, everybody. Welcome back. We're delighted to have you back here at Dr. Sellers Educate. Our mission is to support all nurse educator colleagues on the journey to achieve nurse educator excellence and to become certified. Okay, so if you haven't already, you're going to pull out not only the specific blueprint, but we also want you to go ahead and pull out Billings and Halstead. This is the 6th edition, but you may have the 7th edition as well. We use the 6th edition because this is the one that the exam writers used when they were updating the current C&E exam. And pulling out a notepad or the study worksheet that's also right here in the description that will help keep you focused as you move forward on your journey. So today's date is the first item we want you to write on your worksheet or on your scratch sheet of paper that you have. That's going to help make sure that you stay focused as you move forward on your journey and that you look back at these notes to see when did we cover that content to hopefully guide you coming back to our YouTube channel about which snapshot you want to focus on. And then with Billings and Halstead, we want you to focus on chapter 13 related to this content. Chapter 1 has some great introductory information, but we want to go deep. And even more importantly, we want you to go deep after you conclude your time with us today. So specifically, start on page 235. We want you to take a look at box 13.3. This really explores what it means to engage in our learner diversity experiences that we're going to have. And so box 13.3 talks about the undergraduate principle of learning related to diversity, making sure that we understand our learners, society, and culture. And what does that exactly look like? What does that mean? All right, so make sure you spend some time reviewing that content in chapter 13. All right, so now we're going to transition and take a look at what does the evidence say about the diversity that we see as a faculty member and within our nursing programs. How do we engage in a diverse, well-prepared faculty workforce so that we can support our learners' needs as they move forward on the journey? The word diversity can mean, and it's defined in so many different ways. For purposes of our time together, we're talking about all aspects of diversity. So the need that we have to embrace different faculty with different backgrounds than us, right? So that can mean skin color, that can mean culture, that can mean how you were prepared as a faculty member, doctorally prepared, master's prepared, what your clinical expertise were, and as well as whether or not you've taught at other universities and colleges. So there's so many aspects of diversity that we're going to explore as we move forward in our series. Amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Now, we've used this quote, you may have heard about it, and there's really no specific author. It's been used by several sports coaches. We want you to think about, what does this statement really mean to you? When we're engaging in utilizing evidence-based practices, we take our strategies to a higher level. That's why we followed the guide, our playbook, right, with Billings and Halstead, to help ensure we stay on track with achieving a high level of performance to help our students ultimately achieve success. The hallmarks of excellence that has been designed by NLN calls out the importance of having the diverse areas of expertise. Engaging in leading change and moving change forward can directly be connected to the experiences and expertise that we've had in the past. Let's take a look at our thought-provoking question, and I want you to write it down on your sheet of paper or on your study worksheet. Okay, what you think the best answer is, and stay with us till the end, because we'll share the rationale for the correct answer and exactly what that correct answer is. Faculty members are accountable for creating inclusive civil learning environments. Which statement by the nurse educator best demonstrates ability to meet diverse student learning needs? We have A, the research shows that baby boomers struggle with technology, so we will submit all assignments on paper. B, students sometimes struggle with the assignments, and I'll review them at the beginning of class every week. Or C, last semester, students struggle with utilizing active response systems. So I removed that activity. Okay, so every question you get to the C&E exam, we want you to think about two questions. Number one, what is this question really asking me? And number two, what is it that I know for sure about content related to this question? Okay, so we'll give you a second to write down what you think is the best option, and then we'll talk through it at the end together. Our content today, we've already talked about the 4 different competencies, but just to align it again, you want to take a close look at these 3, plus the 4 that we mentioned earlier, to make sure that you are ensuring that your knowledge gaps are closed. All right, very good. So what do we mean when we talk about changes that are happening related to the diversity of our students and ultimately the learning experience? Well, let's first talking about the data. There's a lot of talk about artificial intelligence. We like to call it assisted intelligence because we know that ChatGPT and others don't have a brain, right? We have to add our brain, our wisdom, our expertise that's associated with that information we get from the ChatGPT. It's a great start, but we want to use our brain. We want to integrate our intellectual property, our knowledge into the strategies that we're using to help support a rich learning environment that leads to students achieving the learning objectives. So this is the literature article that we're using to really talk about and really break down the AI element. So first of all, the results from this study highlight the revolutionary effect of AI in nursing practice. Is reported as of right now, more than 2 million nurses, yes, 2 million nurses reported using AI in the clinical setting. So it is certainly having an impact on patient care and a great influence as well. So here's our question that I want you to write down. How does it show up in our curriculum? We know with 2 million nurses plus using AI, we have to better prepare our students for what that experience is going to be like. So that's the question. How is it showing up in your curriculum? And what are those opportunities for improvement? The second key element we want to pull from this data is that AI encompasses the enhancement of nursing practice through integration, equipping nurses with the necessary education and training in AI technologies, and tackling relevant ethical considerations and challenges. Okay, so that's what this article talked about, the importance of us engaging and really equipping our nursing students with the necessary training they need to be ready for the workforce, this AI workforce, integrated workforce that our students are going to experience. And then the last element that I want to bring to your attention is that AI-enabled robotics and telehealth solutions actually broaden the scope of nursing care, improving healthcare accessibility and facilitating the effectiveness of remote patient care. Diversity does matter, and we're going to talk about what are some of those key elements and the rationale. Now that you know the content you're going to use, Chapter 13, to help you close your knowledge gaps, right? We use Billings and Halstead, Teaching and Nursing, as our Bible, as our playbook, when we strategize how we're going to execute and integrate these evidence-based practices. And then the second resource you're going to use is going to be your blueprint, your exam blueprint. That's even more than that. It really does map out what our competency should be as we think about how to get better, 1% better every single day. So how does diversity matter? Why does it matter? Well, first and foremost, it enhances the patient care experience by having diverse nursing faculty. So diversity in our gender and diversity in our race and diversity in our thoughts. These are all critical elements to help support a holistic learning experience for our students. And ultimately, it helps them provide better patient care and improves patient outcomes. And that's what we all want, because we never know when we're going to be a patient or when our family member is going to be a patient. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to switch over and take a look at some of these key elements as we map out exactly what these categories are, and more importantly, how can you engage in these evidence-based practices that we're talking about. All right, so first and foremost, when we look at the diversity of our faculty, the first section we want to highlight is that faculty is comprised of diverse individuals that have expertise in those clinical practices, in education, as well as interprofessional collaboration. When we come into a nursing program, we bring in lots of experiences that we've already had. Most of us have been in education in a different setting. We may have had clinical experiences in other settings that we're bringing into that academic arena. We may have already done quite a bit of scholarship or research aligned with a specific content area, and we want to leverage that as faculty. The second area you want to consider is, how do we promote excellence? How do we share? How do we disseminate our knowledge? How do we promote civility? How do we create and contribute to the creation of developing policies and procedures regarding how we create and sustain an inclusive learning experience for all of our students? And then this third area of consideration is, what is our commitment to lifelong learning? What does that look like? As we reflect on the focus areas that we have had over the past year, what were our objectives, right? What were our goals, and did we achieve them? If we didn't, here's the good news: we can just carry them over, right, to the next year. So we want to think about, how are we engaged in professional organizations that's going to strengthen our knowledge base, our expertise related to AI as just one example, but also related to other scholarly activities, other research that we need to embrace in order to create a better learning experience for our students. All right, and then last but not least, we're going to cover our thought-provoking question. So let's see if you chose the correct answer, which was B. If you did, give yourselves a round of applause. All right, so B was the best answer, and let's talk about why. So this answer was, students sometimes struggle with the assignments and our review at the beginning of class every week. This demonstrates faculty's accountability to best prepare our students to meet the objectives and ultimately to provide safe patient care. We want our students to be able to feel comfortable and confident speaking up, raising their hand, right, to ask questions in an environment where they feel safe and ultimately where they can be brave. When we're able to bring together faculty that have diverse backgrounds, diverse experiences, we're able to create a better learning experience for our students and a better academic environment for our faculty as well. So we hope that this snapshot has been helpful. Reach out to us if you have questions. You can go to our website and see all of the great programs that are available for you all to deepen your comprehension of these concepts. And you can always reach out to us via email, info@drsoleseducate.com. We look forward to seeing you in our next snapshot. Have a great one, everybody.